Well, good afternoon YouTube. Welcome back. Welcome back to my Woodturning lives. My name's Dan, and today basically I've not been on for a little while. I've had one bug after another, and I'm glad to be back on the mend. But what I've got here on the lathe at the moment is a piece of kiln dried beech. Now beech is pretty dense. It's very much like ash. It's another hardwood, native hardwood from my local area. And as you can see, I've already had a little go at it, and I'm just keeping an eye on basically some of the way it's cutting at the moment. So, but if you are new to my Woodturning lives, I can say it's just a demonstration. It's just how I kind of like showcase some of the work that I do basically here on YouTube. And yeah, there's a couple of things I want to be mindful of. Got a slight crack here, which I'm probably going to go through anyway. So, but yeah, I'm just going to be very careful as I turn this piece. So, but yeah, if you are new to my lives, I can say don't forget to engage in the live. It does help the channel an awful lot. I was going to say, it just makes the chat and the live a bit more engaging. So we're going to crack on basically. And yeah, I was going to say, if you are interested in wood turning, anything like that, then yeah, I was going to say, don't forget to go and speak to a local wood turner from your area and see if they can point you in the right direction. So, but we're going to crack on. I am using a 1/2 inch bowl gouge here, so it's quite aggressive. And my main object at the moment is to remove some of these flat areas basically. And once we've got rid of the flat areas, then we can start looking at creating some form, some shape, and getting some kind of practical piece really. But we're going to crack on. I am on the current herald here, and yeah, I'm having a bit of a shufty around the workshop at the moment, so trying to find a better place for everything. So things will be changing in the next couple of weeks, well, next 3 weeks hopefully, and just to give myself a bit more room, a bit more kind of dynamics around the workshop, give me a bit more space, etc. We're going to crack on basically, and yeah, hope you enjoy the live. Thank you very much, Alan. Much appreciated. I'm going to say my name's Dan, and I'm a wood turner based in Wales, and I turn awful lot of stuff like bowls, decorative items, platters, vases, that kind of thing, really. But if you are enjoying my live, don't forget to jump in. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoy the process. And I was going to say, I've just finished an actual nice piece of ash. Now, ash is one of my favourite types of timber to turn. I was going to say, and I make an awful lot of stuff like this. So, yeah, I was going to say bowls, platters, vases, decorative stuff, pens, key rings, all that kind of stuff. Do make an awful lot of mess. And, but yeah, I've not jumped onto a live for a while. So I've not been very well. So, you say that time of year when all the bugs come flying around, and yeah, for some reason I was very unfortunate to catch one, then the other. So, but yeah, I'm going to crack on basically. And again, I've got a crack here, which I'm going to remove because I'm quite lucky in one respect because it's not running all the way through the piece. So I'm going to keep working on the back here until we get to the depth of this crack here, and hopefully we'll work around it. We'll create that shape, that form, and then basically we'll start hollowing out, etc. So, but yeah, I was going to say it's I love wood turning. It's a very creative thing to do. Basically, very, very dangerous. So again, this is just a demonstration. Please don't copy what I'm doing here, because last thing I want to do is see somebody watch my content and end up kind of like getting hurt. So Got 25 people in the room, so it's going up. I was going to say I've not been on for a while, so usually I've better luck on the weekends and stuff where I get 200-300 people in the room. I've even had 1,000 people in the room before watching what's going on. So, but again, I'm being very mindful, very careful. It's actually kiln dried, so it's very brittle. So again, and it's very, very hard. The moisture content is less than 20%, so it's pretty hard. It's pretty tough wood. So, but we are going to crack on. I've got it into some kind of proportion. And again, the last thing you want to do is chuck a piece of wood on the lathe and it's full of cracks. Okay, because that can be incredibly dangerous. Because what tends to happen if you've got lots and lots of cracks, you're not going to create shavings. Okay, you're going to end up having chunks of wood come flying off the lathe. So. But yeah, we're going to crack on basically. I am on the Car and Herald from Record Power, and yeah, we're going to start getting this wood turned. So, but yeah, if you are new to the lives, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It does mean an awful lot to me. It does help the channel out massively. And yeah, we're going to crack on. If you're wondering what I'm actually using here, it's called a bowl gouge, okay? And there's profiles on this bowl gouge, okay? As you can see from the tip here, okay? And this is what I'm doing. I'm maintaining bevel contact all the time. I was going to say just on the bevel. And as long as that bevel's maintaining contact, it's going to cut the wood, okay? It is going to cut. But I'm not ignoring you all. I can see everybody saying hi, so welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. So again, I want to be mindful of this here because this is quite a hefty crack running through. So what I want to ensure is this whole third of the log doesn't come off, okay? So I'm going to keep staying on the back end, as you can see, working on this area here. Because what I'm trying to do is remove this crack, okay? It's not running all the way through, so I know there's a slight depth there, so I can obviously bypass this. And once I'm through it, then obviously we can start to get it into some kind of shape. But at the moment, it's running a couple of mil into the log, not a lot. But again, since I've been wood turning for over a couple of years now, and like I said, anybody who wants to get into wood turning, please go out there and speak to what we classify as a RPT, a registered personal tutor. Okay, somebody who knows exactly what they're talking about, what they're doing, and yeah, they give you a bit of understanding how the lathe works, the tools we use, tool placement, technique, all that kind of stuff, really. So, but yeah, it does kind of give you a bit of a head start. But to jump on a lathe without any kind of instruction, you can get hurt. So just be very, very careful, very, mindful of this piece of machinery. It can and will hurt you. Okay, it can and will hurt you. So, main thing is face shield. It's going to say you don't want anything stabbing you in the face. You don't want any piece of wood coming off. It's going to say, because like I said, you can put yourself in hospital very, very easily. So, but again, I'm still working on this back end here. Okay, I want to remove this crack. And say I want to remove this. I mean, I'm pretty much most of the way of creating that shape and form. It's going to go oval, okay? It's going to go oval first, then it's going to go round, and then we'll put a tenon foot, flip it round, and we'll hollow it out, okay? We'll hollow it out. So apologies for my absence on YouTube. I'm going to say it's, yeah, I was going to say I'm still hitting over, well, I think I'm probably on about 4 months into YouTube, over 3,000 subscribers, and I've done particularly well. So I'm running at nearly 900 reps per minute. So, but again, let's focus on getting rid of that crack at the moment. I'm not trying to take off too much timber, okay? Because I don't want to dig into it and end up taking a chunk of timber off it, okay? So we just want to take it very slow, very steady, and just take things just bit by bit at a time, really. You don't want to rush. When you rush, you make mistakes. So again, it's spinning pretty quick. You know what I mean? If that comes flying off, again, it'll start bouncing around the workshop. So we're going to crack on anyway. Now, as you can see, I'm working from the side, okay? You can say you never ever directly stand in front of a lathe. So if that thing comes off, it's coming towards me, okay? And there's only one way that's going to go, if basically it does come towards me, and that's straight at me, okay? So always stand to the side. And what I want to do, just before I continue, that'll do. Just want to get a good idea. Okay, that is running quite deep in there. Okay, that crack is being quite problematic. So it is running quite deep in there. So we want to be mindful, really needs to be mindful. I think it's going to take a bit of work. Check that, make sure it's coming off, not going to go nowhere. Okay, we're going to take quite a few hefty cuts now. Because I think this is running about 1/4 of an inch into the piece. Okay. So again, keep working. Eventually that crack will get a lot smaller, and then the crack will probably just vanish. So, but yeah, and I want to be basically concentrating on this area at the moment. You can say there's no point in me trying to work down the sides while I've got a crack running this way. Stops here, okay, and it stops here. So it's only here, as you can see on the live, okay. So if it was running all the way through, it wouldn't be worth turning, because it's not worth the risk of a huge chunk of timber coming off the lathe. So, but again, work round. We're going to lose quite a bit of timber here at the moment. It's not going to be a massive piece, but it's more going to be like a decorative piece, if that makes sense. So you can see I've still got that flat edge here. We'll remove that as we come round, okay. I was going to say, but at the moment, let's get rid of that, okay. Let's get rid of that. That is the most important thing right now. So I'm just going to resharpen this actually, and one of the most imperative things you need to do when wood turning is keep these sharp all the time, okay? There's no point trying to use blunt tools, and it takes literally seconds, okay? Sharpen a bowl gouge. sharp. Well, so on sharp, it's a bit shiny, okay? So let's work on this, okay? I know it looks pretty gashed up, but from previous experience, previous knowledge, we'll get rid of that, okay? We will get rid of it. Just taking passes. What I'm going to do while I'm actually working on that back end there is I'm going to stop and start the lathe, okay? And one reason for that is to just keep an eye on this crack, okay? I don't want it spreading, okay? I don't want to go any deeper or any wider than the piece itself, because then it's going to have to come off the lathe. So, again, got a bit more work to do here. Because I am very, very lucky it's not running all the way through, okay? Like I said, it's just here, okay? So we just need to keep shaving, okay? We need to just keep taking this away. And say the more we attack this back end, the smaller crack than it gets, and eventually we'll go past it, okay? And once we're past it, then we start messing around with form, shape, and then I think every piece of wood speaks for itself. You say no two pieces of timber behave the same, ever. So it's just basically trying to get the most out of the timber that you're working with, really. And safety is paramount, okay? It's absolutely imperative that you look after yourself on wood turning. You say it's still a piece of machinery, it's not a toy, and should never ever be looked at as one, okay? I get my family sometimes saying, "You're going to play on your lathe?" I'm going to play on the lathes, okay? I was going to say, it's you respect the piece of timber, you respect the machinery you're working with, and yeah, and always look after yourself. So you see the tool rest here, okay? I put the bowl gouge on, sitting center, okay? You don't want too high, okay? And you don't want too low. If it's too low, it's going to catch it, okay? And that's when it's going to yank you, okay? And that's the last thing you want, okay? So at the moment, again, we're working around it, okay? We will work around it. This is going to take a bit more work than what I'd hoped, but yeah, as you say, I'm having a bit of a shifty around the workshop at the moment, so got a bit more work to do in the workshop, try and create some space, and yeah, and hopefully we'll get looking more like a workshop rather than a mess. Slowly take these cuts, okay? Slowly. Yeah, I'm not rushing. If you do subscribe to the channel, you'll be notified every time I jump online, and you'll see some of the stuff that I kind of create. And it's not just bowls, it's more like decorative items. And I've just noticed this crack's getting smaller, okay? It was over here, okay? Now it stops here. So, okay, we're working around it. Okay, we're definitely working around it. So again, it's only this big now. It's only this big now. So again, let me just get rid of Gemini. There we are. Again, it's only this big now, so we're coming through it. Okay, we are coming through it. I'm gonna say, but yeah, if you do subscribe to the channel, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It does help the channel out massively. And but yeah, I was gonna say so I wouldn't call myself a professional wood turner, because basically we're always learning. Okay, because no two pieces of timber behave the same way. Well, not that oak, ash, alder, or any kind of exotic woods. They all behave differently. And yeah, we're going to crack on basically. No pun intended. But again, we're going to get rid of this. Once we get rid of this, we'll have a bit more fun. Okay, we'll have a bit more fun. I'll try and explain my process. which is why my whole purpose of jumping onto a live. Could pre-record it, but then again, if I make a mistake, it's going to happen live, and you'll see how I overcome that mistake, and what I learn from it. And how I learn is basically by chucking a piece of timber on, getting it turned, and yeah, and explain the process. Just explain the process. You speed up. Okay, 910 reps per minute. Now, somebody asked in my live once, have I ever been hurt while wood turning? Yes, I have, by becoming complacent, okay? Becoming complacent and becoming too comfortable. And that's the last thing you want to do. Is I didn't wear my head shield, and I tried to take off a little corner, small little smidgen, and it had a couple of mil. I thought I'd be fine, don't need that, I'll just take it off quickly. And as I tried to take it off, it jabbed me right in the eye. So hence I've got specs on and face shield at all times. So again, it's getting smaller. It's getting smaller. Okay, so I know it's going to be gone in probably the next couple of minutes. So some people said to me, you take too long to make something. I said, well, it's not going to make itself, is it? It's not going to make itself. And but yeah, as you say, wood turning is just a journey. It's just a journey. And I think without anything really, it just takes time. It just takes a bit of patience. See, I'm making them rough cuts at the moment, and this is what the 1/2 inch bowl gouge is very good for. Okay, it's a bit of a beast. It will remove quite a lot of timber. So, but yeah, as you say, and then when it comes to tidying it up, I'll use a smaller flute, which is the metal bit. Okay, and it's 1/2 inch. Okay, I've got another selection of array of tools on the wall, and the one where I clean up with this kind of 3/8. It's got a smaller profile on it, so it's more for tidying up rather than taking heaps of timber off. But again, this is getting smaller. Okay, this is getting a lot smaller. So I hope you're all enjoying the live. I was going to say, and yeah, the weather is a little bit dismal here today in Wales. Yesterday was much brighter, much sunnier, with blue skies. A bit of a godsend, to be honest. And yeah, so we're waiting for summertime at the moment. So, but again, it's one of these things where I jump onto lives. It's trying to explain my process. You know, I'm not jumping on to show some kind of tutorial or kind of anything like that. So I'm not a tutor. I'm just somebody who enjoys explaining the process, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, I hope you're enjoying the live, and yeah, any subscribers is well appreciated, much appreciated. So again, I've got to be very mindful because there's screws sitting on the other side of this, only 1 inch screws, and basically running into the piece. Okay, so the last thing I want to do is come through it and hit those screws. Okay, because otherwise it's gonna fall apart. So I'm going to crack on. as you can see, you see me working on this corner here, okay? And the reason why I work on that corner is because you look at a natural bowl, okay? But imagine it's like this at the moment, okay? And as you can see, I'm creating that curve, okay? Which is what I'm trying to do here, okay? Just create that natural flow, okay? Because if you can have a, where is it now? When I first started woodturning this kind of stuff, really, you can see there's no form to it, there's no shape. This is what we class is what I call a dog bowl, you know, I'm going to say. But it's got very flat edges, it's got no form, it's got no shape to it. So again, we want to try and create this shape, okay? And when we do the inside, you want your finger just flowing, okay? So differences of this one, it just runs to centre, there, out, okay? Very easily done with carbide, okay? So again, this is why I'm working on this smooth kind of corner, really, so I can bring this natural form, this natural shape. Because when you look at a cereal bowl, it's always got that natural curve, okay? That natural curve to it. So again, we're getting rid of it. We are getting rid of it. So just want to keep an eye on it. Always inspect your piece, just in case there's any. I had one piece one day and there's a hairline fracture, okay? And the hairline fracture is a crack that you can't see. And what it's doing is running through the piece. And obviously I couldn't see it from the outside because it wasn't evident. But when it actually came to turning it, I was coming round, I was creating the shape, the form, and then all of a sudden it came apart, okay? It came straight at me. So, and that's why you got to be careful. That's why you should always inspect the piece. Never ever just take it for granted and think, okay, it will be fine, because they're the famous last words, okay? So again, I'm going to bring this banjo, okay, to the banjo tool rest, okay? And you just want to make sure that you're just under centre. I said so. As you can see, it's coming round, coming up to that crack, okay? Coming up to that crack, just there. So again, once we've got rid of it, child's play. Not child's play, but make things a lot easier. Make things a lot easier. You see, I've got these big fat edges here, okay? These big fat edges. So what I want to try and do is come round to my face value, okay? Face value. So when I do come round, I can take these big fat edges off, okay? As you can see, I'm again standing away from it, okay? Don't stand in front of it. So you stand in front of it and it comes off, you're asking for big problems. So again, I'm going to take these big fat edges off, come back round, create that shape, okay, that form. And then we can, once we've got our form, then we can start getting a bit more experimental, whether or not we want to take into a beehive bowl. I've got a beehive bowl in here somewhere. I've got that many bowls, that many pieces. It's up there on the shelf. I'll go and get it in a minute. So, in fact, let's get it now. Ooh. Beehive bowls have this, like a beehive, I suppose, like a rippled effect, okay? And it's quite easy to do. It's quite easy to do. So, but yeah, we'll get into that very shortly. Maybe do it for this piece, who knows? So, just want to keep an eye on it. Again, it's tiny now. So let me take these big fat edges off, okay? Come back around, clear that off, tidy it up. 8 likes, thank you so much. Nearly 70 people in the room. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. So my name's Dan, and I'm a progressive woodturner. I like to progress. I'm no way near an expert, but I just try to just explain. Here we go. Again, use that bevel. Okay, we got rid of those fat edges, okay? So one thing you do as a woodturner, you make an incredible lot of mess, okay? Lots and lots of mess. So again, we've got that shape, okay? We've got that shape. I'm going to come back around the back, just make a couple more passes. What I'm going to actually do, I'm going to come back round and I'm going to use, again, bowl gouge, okay? 1/2 inch, 3/8, okay? The flute is a lot smaller, but it's more tidying up, okay? It's more tidying up. So again, I don't want to lose lots and lots of timber, okay? Just want to tidy up, okay? So now we've got our shape. We just want to basically take a few shavings off the back, get rid of that crack. A little flat edge here, which I want to remove, which won't take too long at all. And we've got one there, so it's on 2 opposite sides. So once you've got rid of those, get rid of a lot of those tool marks. Again, give it a sand, give it a tidy up, and hopefully we'll turn this into a nice little decorative piece. So I thought I'd be a little bit rusty because I've not been on the lathe for a while, and yeah, I just wanted to jump back on and get back to what I enjoy doing. You can say it could turn into firewood, but I don't want to do that. I was going to say, why burn it when I can turn it into something practical? So again, just coming round, just coming round. Shall we speed up? Okay, over 1,000 reps, okay? Over 1,000 reps. Yeah, hear that sound? Something's wobbling. Okay, it's not too bad. Not too bad. Always inspect. Always inspect. Never just take it for granted. Okay. Let me just have a quick look. Stop the headstock. I'm going to take it off because I just want to have a quick shufty. See, we're getting round, okay? We're getting round, okay? So we're creating that shape, that natural form, that natural shape that I was talking about. So again, one of these is not sitting as nice as I like it. Yeah, it's better. That's better. One screw is just becoming a little bit, not untidy, but it's becoming a little bit loose. And that's one thing I don't want. One thing I don't want is anything flying, okay? Well, nothing flying. Nah, see? Like I said before, always inspect your wood. Don't take it for granted. Do not take anything for granted when wood turning. Say 1 minute you think everything's all right and it's sound and sweet, it's not going nowhere. Before you know it, you've got snap screws in the faceplate, and you've got pieces of wood bouncing around the workshop. So again, that crack was this long, okay? It's this long now, okay? I knew I'd get through it, okay? I knew I'd get through it. So again, I'm just going to take a couple of light passes. I'll go back to the 1/2 inch bowl gouge in a second, just to remove these flat edges, okay? And saying once we've done that, we've created our form, our shape. We can tidy it up with this one, okay? The 3/8 bowl gouge, okay? Yeah, that's fine. In fact, what I'm going to do, give it a bit more torque. The one thing you've got to be very, very careful is when wood is not balanced, okay? It's not balanced, it's going to be rocking around, okay? It's going to be jumping about. So, but yeah, it's one thing we just got to be mindful of. Keep checking that. Okay. We've just got a surface fracture here, which I'm going to remove with a 1/2 inch bowl gouge. The big piece, okay? I'm going to whip it round, okay? A lot of these ridges are happening because there's some kind of vibration going on. So I don't know if it's because I've moved the lathe and the floor's a little bit unbalanced, but crack on. We'll see how we get on. If anybody's got any questions, drop them in the chat below. I'm going to say it makes the chat more engaging. Unless you just want to watch and see how I get on, see what I can produce. So if you haven't subscribed and you'd like to, help the channel out massively. with the amount of timber I just removed, I just saw that big lip coming round, okay? I suspected to actually take these flat edges off. But I've got a tiny bit on both areas, okay? This won't take 2 seconds to remove. This will not take long to remove. We've nearly removed that. Okay. I usually wear a smock. I would say a smock, but absolutely filthy. Absolutely filthy. So see, this won't be like a practical bowl, this will be more of a texture piece because it's got nice high walls to it. It's going to be quite, I won't say shallow, but we've got rid of that crack. We have got rid of the crack, thank God. Right, let's get rid of those 2 little flat edges. Back onto face value, okay, which will not take long. So Ahmed message retracted. I'm not sure what that means. Oh, retracted. Okay, so it's taken away. Right, flat edge, flat edge, and then once I've got rid of the flat edges, we've got our shape. Then we just tidy it up. Okay, we just tidy up then. So. So at this stage, I don't want to just keep whacking it with a 1/2 inch dowel gouge because if I do that, I'm just going to be removing timber layer after layer after layer, and before you know it, the bowl ends up about this big. Okay, so we don't want to do that. But again, I've got a couple of little areas that I need to tidy up and clean up, and yeah, overall, we've got our shape. Okay, we've got our shape. Again, small little flat edge there. Tiny little area there, so I'm literally on the money there. So just need to keep working on it. Just need to keep working on it. Come down onto it sideways. And as you can see, a lot of people, I'm holding it here, okay, here, supporting with my body weight. You can see, because if I'm like this, and it catches me, it's going to yank you. Okay, it's going to yank you, and you're going to hurt your shoulder a lot. So we'll support it. So support with your body weight. So if it's going to try and catch me, it's going to move my whole body weight, okay? It's going to say, so always just make sure that never grip this flute, okay? Because if again it catches you and you're holding on to steel, okay, it's going to work, it's going to hurt your hands, okay? So there's lots of things you've got to take into consideration when wood turning. It's not just about chucking a piece of timber on and hoping for the best. Yeah, knocking. Yeah, it's not the knocking I'm too concerned about, because I know that will stop. I'm going to say it's, I think the form is balancing out, so I'm going to go back to the 3/8. And one reason I'm going to do that is just to remove some of these tool marks. Okay, I could use a bowl scraper, and again, it's a different profile altogether, and it just tidies up the piece. So mainly if you're usually working on the inside, but we'll start off with the 3/8 bowl gouge. We'll try and tidy it up. Because I've got a few ridges in there. Let's remove that out of the way. And sharpen this one up. Okay? Sharpen the 3/8 up. Now here's a pro edge for sharpening, I can say, because it takes literally seconds. There are many other ways to sharpen your bowl gouges, and each to their own. So I say you could use CBN wheels and all sorts of stuff to create a sharp bowl gouge, but you should never ever use blunt tools. And one reason for that is because if you use blunt tools, it's not going to cut, it's going to bounce. It's going to bounce on the timber. And if it's bouncing, there's only one way it's going to bounce at you, and that's to you, okay? So always ensure basically that they're all sharp. Again, let's clean this up. Let's tidy this up. Again, I've come round and I've got this ridge, okay? Look at that. It's come round and I've got that lip, okay? That lip is what I want to remove, so we get that natural flow, okay? That natural curve. If we're not literally getting that natural curve, it doesn't look aesthetically pleasing as when you look at it, okay? It doesn't look great. So, but again, working around it. But again, apologies for those who've jumped on the live and I've been absent for a little while. But I'm back. There's that lip. See? I'm not gripping it, okay? I'm just coming in with a push cut, okay? Push cut. So very, very gentle, okay? Very, very gentle. Okay, we've got to remove that lip. We have. Okay, right, I need another tool. This one does not look like a bowl gouge, okay? This one's got a totally different profile. See the profile on this? In fact, it will need resharpening. It's a bowl scraper, okay? And as you can see, I talked about this before, where to be just under center. With a bowl scraper, you want to be just over center, okay? And come in with a different cut, okay? And what that'll do, any tool marks, anything like that, it should just smooth them nicely out, okay? And we sharpen it, okay? Here we are, okay. Again, bring it up just over center, okay? Just over. Again, we don't want to cut it, we just want to basically smooth it out, okay? Keep it at 671. You see me now, I'm at this angle, okay? turned the lathe on this morning and I thought, what is that knocking? Checking the bearings and everything. But it's not the bearings. I'll use a round piece of carbide, okay? That's how I started, using carbide. Just as sharp as a traditional tool. What I'll do is just remove that there. Because with that bowl scraper, it just seems to be touching the edge of it. We're not being aggressive at all. Okay, nice and flowing curves. Okay, that's what we're after. See, high walls. Okay, the light isn't really doing it justice at the moment, so I'm going to swap over. Okay, tools everywhere in this workshop, all over. It's a square roughing tip. Okay, roughing tip, and what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring that tool back down. I only work above centre when using a bowl scraper. Okay. So what I'm trying to do now is create that tenon, create that foot, sweep it back in, flip it round, and we'll hollow it out. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Definitely rattling around. Where's that key? Rattling around. It's rattling around. Okay. Let's get these screws back in. Bear with me 1 second. That's why it was loose. It was loose. My apologies. There we are. Not wobbling anymore. It's not wobbling anymore. That's why we're getting these really rough cuts, basically, because if it's wobbling around in the chuck, the last thing you want. Let's keep it at 600. We're going to tidy this up. See, I'm not being aggressive with those cuts whatsoever, okay? Whatsoever. So you start being aggressive with your bowl gouge, you're going to have a catch, okay? The catch is when you take a big cut into the wood, okay? And you don't want to do that, okay? You don't want to do that. Okay, I'm just being a bit mindful here. I was going to say, is that turn too small? Is that turn too small? I said, I'm going to be a bit rusty. I'm going to say, I've not been on the lathe for a few weeks. Let's swap it around a minute. One way to tell. Put it in the chuck. No, it's fine. It's fine. Right. Let's get the screws out of there. Don't need massive screws, okay? You don't need massive screws. Decent quality screws, yes. And your faceplate's off. Never, ever, ever use the same screws twice, ever. And say it's not worth them becoming dull, and then the heads break off, and then you're stuck with the screws still inside the piece. So again, the face is a little bit sketchy, okay? It's a bit uneven. So again, we're going to use that 1/2 inch bowl gouge and clean our face up just by creating a few passes. And once we've made those passes, then it'll be nice and flat. And then we're going to hollow it out, okay? We never, ever, ever core it out, okay? And this was taught to me by a professional wood turner. And he says, you never core a bowl. And I said, why is that? He said, because you core an apple, okay? And when you core an apple, go all the way through, okay? You remove the core. Don't go all the way through a bowl. I say it's pointless. So we've got our shape, our form, okay? And so again, we hollow it, okay? So we're taking enough timber out to create the natural form of a bowl. So again, we're going to bring this to about just under 700 RPM, okay? Yeah, it should be nice and flat now. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to try and do now, the bevel on the opposite side, okay? Let me just remove that tailstock. Tailstock is in no way. Do have the extension bed, makes things a lot easier. Again, coming in. Taking my time, okay? You don't want to rush at this point, because otherwise all that hard work of creating the shape and the form, etc. would be pointless. So again, we just take our time. If you're enjoying the live, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up. It does help the channel out massively. And I'm literally just getting back to my getting back to grips with being back on YouTube and being back on a lathe. So Now I don't tend to turn too much kiln dry wood. It becomes very, very brittle. So I'm going to be very, very careful when turning this stuff. You can turn green wood, so wood that's already been felled recently, but be expected for it to crack, warp, lose its shape, etc. So it's a good way to start, just to practice on something different really. Now a lot of people when they first start out, they'll try and turn pens and stuff like that. I didn't. I went straight into trying to turn bowls, etc. One of the most challenging things to try and turn. But yeah, as you say, I've tried all sorts of stuff really on the lathe. Now, I want to be mindful of that 10 inch, it's not massive, okay? I don't want to snap the thing off. So again, we're going through, we're creating some depth really. What I want to be mindful of is this here. Bit of a knot here. So what I want to be mindful of is if I would just take some very shallow cuts basically off the rim and try and remove as much of this as possible, because as it's turning, it's catching this, it's becoming very brittle at this area here, so very dry. And again, I don't want it to be a problem when it actually comes to hollowing, okay? So I want, there are many ways to get rid of this. We could use a square carbide tip and just keep going down and down and down so we remove it. Or we could just use the side of the bevel of the 3/8 bowl gouge. You just gently take some cuts, okay? So, let me crack on. Now you can see the rim, okay? The rim is the same diameter all the way around, okay? All the way around. And one way you can tell if the piece isn't centered is the rim will be two different sets of diameter. You have one big fat rim and one very thin rim. So again, you just want to make sure that when you're mounting your wood, it's dead center, dead center. So again, we've nearly removed it, okay? We've removed most of it, okay? A couple of passes now, and we will get rid of that, okay? We have lost quite a lot of material here turning this piece. But it's nice to get onto something where I'm not being too aggressive and a little bit rusty today, but I'm riding a bike, I've ridden a bike for many years. Yeah, it takes a while to get back used to it. Stop and start. Always keep an eye on it, always. Okay. Not too bothered about it here now, okay, because it's on the surface, okay. Before, it had a bit of an indentation, an inclusion, as we like to call it. So, again, I could take one more pass or two more passes just to get rid of it, just to be sure. Okay, that's more like it. One inclusion here on the end, but it's on the right on the rim of the bowl. So I'll take probably 1/8 of an inch off that rim now, I'll leave it quite chunky, create that depth, sand it, apply finish. Okay, so again, we're better than looking like half a log or half a piece of firewood, isn't it? So is that my tenon? I don't think it was. No, my tenon's still on there. My tenon's still on there. Got a catch, okay, in this area here. So that's that bottom curve there. Gouge just caught it basically. And lucky it didn't rip off the tenon, but again, we'll put it back on and clean it up. We'll clean it up. Apologies for that. Happens to the best of us, you know. What did Mr. Raffin say? Of all the woodturners out there with 35 years experience, we all get a catch every now and then. Looks epic and illegal. I was going to say, yeah, woodturning, it's one of these things that we do drive on the left hand side of the road. I was going to say, yeah, I think it's basically with woodturning anyway, it's one of these things. It's all pieces of timber behaves differently, you know. It all behaves. I mean, one piece of oak to a piece of ash to a piece of beech to a piece of elm. So some of the exotics have turned. You can never guarantee a piece is going to stay stable the whole time. That's just like that's becoming too complacent with a piece of wood. It's going to say you've got to understand basically what you're doing with the piece. Like I said, it came off the lathe just then, and yeah, it's one of these things you've got to be careful. Got to be careful. All right, let's have a look at that. Right, I've got a catch here on the inside. Let's get rid of that. Okay, I want to create some depth. When I'm coming in, okay, come in with this push cut. Okay, as you can see, the flute is that way. Okay, you see from here, this bar, it's away from me. Okay, shear cuts, pull cut is literally coming towards me. So what happened then, when I came for a push cut, I lost the bevel contact on the piece of timber. And as I came in, it caught it on that inside wall. And that's where basically you can create that catch. So again, let's create some depth. Once I create the depth, then come back out. I know exactly where it is. I know exactly where it is, so I just hit the thing again. I know how to get rid of that. I know how to get rid of it. I'm going to get rid of that now, because I keep hitting it. Let's tighten that up. Get back in there. Take the 3/8 away a minute. I'm going with a round tip piece of carbide. I'm going to come in and I'm going to take that catch out of it because that's what I keep hitting. Okay, that's what I keep hitting, that inside curve there. It's too deep, so when I'm coming in, it's catching it straight on that bevel. So piece of carbide, because it's round, I can come round it. Okay, come round it. So let's take some gentle cuts. Okay, let's take some gentle cuts. I hope that's worked. It should work. Actually cleaned up very, very nicely. Very, very nicely. You come in with that sweeping curve now, see? There's no flat edges. So if I come in with a square tip, yeah, square tip, and you come in, you're going to create that flat edge, okay? Because it's got the flat tip to it, okay? So again, you just want to come in, create them, follow that natural curve. Follow the natural curve. Some minute area there I want to get rid of. And speed up. I'm going to go to about 800, okay? 810 RPM. Another thing, because it's got quite high walls on it, it's hard to get into that. You have this bevel basically on the bolt gouge, and when it comes into that lower area of the bottom of the walls, catching it. So I've gone back to the carbide a second. Follow it out. See, a lot of wood turners swear by carbide, okay? A lot of people start on these tools, okay? And I think they have their place in the workshop, okay? Whether or not that's for tidying up, some people swear by them and they'll use carbide all day long. Some people use traditional tools like bowl gouge, etc., bowl scraper. Some people use both, and I'm one of the type of people who use both. Because I think, like I said, they do have their place in the workshop and they're very good at handling tricky areas of wood turning. So just having a quick shifty at it again. And I've got this raised area here in the centre now. Okay, so it's a little raised area. So I'll remove that now. Again, I don't want to go too much deeper because I'm going to end up creating a funnel, and I don't want to do that because that'd be a complete waste of time. So again, let's move this area here. We'll give it a nice tidy up. We'll clean it up with some isopropyl, and yeah, and we'll try and put a nice finish on it. When it comes down to sanding, I only use 3 taps of grit. So that's 80, 120, 240, and it should be baby smooth. Okay, it should be baby smooth. And but yeah, you don't want to sound too fast because you'll warm the wood up, and then basically if there are any hairline fractures in the piece, again, and you warm it up, those fractures will start to expand, and once they expand, it's going to come apart. Okay, so again, let's remove this center raised area here, just again using the carbide. Don't want to be too aggressive, and we can try and tidy it up, try and give it a nice kind of finish really. So but thank you for those who have stuck with me through this live. I am a bit rusty. I've not been on the lathe for a little while, and yeah, I'm saying hopefully I'll be back to good now. Now I've actually got rid of like all the nasty bugs going around. My other half, she caught the flu, gave it to me. Thank you, Mrs. And then basically, yeah, and then I got better, and then a couple of days later, I got a stomach bug, and yeah, that hasn't been too pleasant either. So I've actually got 3 dogs. Two of them are collies, and one of them's a staffy. And they've got a very, very bad habit of coming into my workshop and finding the largest pile of sawdust they can actually find, laying in it, leaving the workshop, going straight back into the house and carrying it absolutely everywhere. So they are barred from my workshop. Yeah, a little bit. Again, no jewellery. Never wear jewellery on a lathe, ever. If you value your fingers, don't ever wear anything like that. Say, there's that small little inclusion here on the edge of the piece. Not too bothered. Again, I'm going to tidy this up and give it a good clean up. So once you've finished on the inside, it's never advised to start working back on the outside, okay? Never. Because you've removed a lot of the mass from the piece, okay? And again, you're only working with 1/4 of an inch, okay, of rim, okay? So again, if you make a catch on the outside, you're going to go straight through, and it could explode on the lathe. So let's remove that out of the way. So let's take a good look at it first before we start working on it, okay? Again, we've got the shape, got the form. Took a little bit of work, okay? We create a nice amount of depth there, okay? Again, you could go a little bit deeper, but for demonstration purposes, you can say, I think, well, it's like a nice chunky little porridge bowl, you know? It'd be quite nice looking in the kitchen. I'm sure my other half will find a use for it. Like the other 12,000 bowls I've made, so. But yeah, overall, you've kind of got the look, okay? We've got the look. Okay, we're going to sand this up now. Ooh. And one way I'm going to do that is take the drill driver and I'm looking for my collet. This is why I saw my workshop out, because it's an absolute tip. It's an absolute tip. I should do this by hand. Here's one of my new piece of equipment in the workshop. Bosch pillar drill. Absolute beast. Absolute beast. Let's just do it by hand. Let's just do it by hand. Again, start with a piece of 80 grit. Okay. And if you think that's a piece of beastie equipment, I got the Sabre 350, okay, which is a nice little gift. Nice little gift. So, bit of a beast, but I'm still trying to get used to it compared to my little one. So, yeah, so I did have a bench top bandsaw, couldn't cut toffee. So it was a nice Valentine's gift. I got given the Backup Power Sabre 350. So, bit of an animal, but let's crack on. Let's crack on. Keep it 800 revs, okay? Ooh, is that even in there properly? It's got a bit of a wobble on it. Slow it down. Wobbling in there. Would be wobbling in there, would do, wouldn't it? Ah, oh, somebody just sat in there properly. Hey. Don't feel too secure when it's wobbling around. You say if it's wobbling in the chuck, it's going to say it's not secure. If it's bouncing around, make sure it doesn't. For your safety. It's getting smoother. It's getting smoother about 80. But by the time we've finished it with the 240, it'd be baby smooth. Like I said before about running it at a low RPM, okay, don't just running at like 800, 900 revs per minute, because if that wood starts warming up, it's going to start looking for any cracks which could develop really, and once they start developing, then they could open up and it could cause significant problems. So, alright, so let's have a look. A little rough on that end. Okay, go back on the other side. Well, it's relatively smooth already, okay, so mix it with 120. I know it's backwards. YouTube's got this thing with the camera thing is going where it mirrors it, okay, which is rather annoying. But I'm hopefully going to a bit of a swap around and move around, and then hopefully we can get some better camera angles and stuff like that going. So And what I'm looking for, and my hands are inside it, I'm feeling for any kind of imperfections, any kind of like tool marks, anything like that really, where you'll feel it as it runs through your fingers, okay? You never do that with bark on it because you value your fingers, then you wouldn't do that. But now it's getting relatively much smoother than what it was. I'm just feeling for any of those imperfections. So dips, lumps, bumps, anything like that really. And if there is, that's when you just stop sanding and you just take another close look at it. So again on the outside, on the rim, feeling around the outside, nice and smooth, okay. We'll hit the 240, okay. Hit the 240. One of my friends said to me I need a tease made in my workshop, and I said no, I don't need a tease made. I said otherwise I'll have a cup of tea over there full of dust, full of shavings. Hi RG, nice to see you back, buddy. Apologies for my absence, mate. Yeah, I've not been on for a while, mate. I've been having a bit of a break, and again wasn't very well, which didn't help. So. But it's nice to be back, nice to be back. I've had a few new pieces of equipment in the workshop, having a bit of a shuffle around, and changing a few aspects with my woodturning lives, etc. So, but at the moment I'm working on a piece of kiln dried beech. It's not been the easiest piece to work on, a little bit rusty, but I'm getting there, But again, 240, last grit, okay? Now that is smooth, okay? Very, very smooth. And that's the kind of feel I'm looking for. You work on the cuts, get some really clean cuts to begin with. It won't take much sanding at all, okay? Much sanding whatsoever. You power sand it for the final collect. I lost quite a few subscribers during my absence, so I thought I'd better jump back on and try and get some more back. But I'm still over 3,000, which isn't too bad. So I'm going to try and get back into my weekly lives. Try and have a bit of a tidy up, sort out, kind of that thing in the workshop. Make it a bit more engaging. My other half's going to kill me. She bought me this jumper for Christmas. And yeah, shouldn't be too impressed. Overall, this bowl is meant to be beech, but it looks more like ash. It certainly looks like ash with the grain. With my arborist, I think it's ash. The grain is too swirly, it's very similar to this. See the grain pattern, how it swirls, very similar, very similar. I'll be on my word with my arborist to find out what's going on there, but yeah, I think it's ash. So, what I'm going to do now, where is it? isopropyl alcohol. Give this a clean up. Good at removing surface dust, anything like that really. Any dirt that's on the bowl. Sorry, that doesn't help, that's in the way. Isopropyl is very, very cheap. Evaporates very, very quickly. It gives you a good indication, raises the grain, gives a good indication of how it's going to look before you apply your finish. Good tip from my good old friend Mike Alton. He's always a wealth of knowledge. So, but yeah, I'm sure you'll be pleased to see that I'm back. So, if you haven't checked out Mike Alton's content, I can say it's makes some incredible stuff. Very well experienced wood turner, and but yeah, I say he's a good friend of mine. He's always on the help when I'm there, needing it, feeling a bit rusty. So, well, I've got another stack of wood arriving Monday, which should be interesting. So I waited a month for this stuff to come out the kiln. And when it came out the kiln, it was completely cracked, which was not helpful. It was not helpful whatsoever. So, God, that's dry already. That's incredible. Right, what I'm going to do now. Beeswax, okay? Beeswax. Not really much of a smell to it, but get a clean rag. Don't need much of it, okay? Do not need much of it at all. See, I'm not going with a huge rag in there, okay? Because I don't want nothing getting caught, okay? Just a little bit. And a little bit more for the outside. Ooh, careful down. Feels a lot like boot polish. That's one way to explain it. So again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, you want to see me create more stuff, I was going to say don't forget to support the channel, it is free. And yeah, it does go a very long way, it does help me out massively. And yeah, today's been a very learning curve because I've not been on for a little while. But yeah, it's just going to take me time to find my feet again. And so when you haven't done something for a little while, it becomes a little bit unnatural. So again, clean part of the rag, keep a lot of the rag away from it. So if anything can get caught in there, it will get caught in there. So keep things with any kind of length away from it. There we are, let's get in there. Okay. And that just take a soak. Pop it up, speed this up a minute. Pop this up a minute. It doesn't feel greasy, it just feels like it needs to be buffed in a little bit more. And what I'm going to do now, yeah, I know, that's why I'm only using the corner of it. RG, can say I wouldn't go anywhere near it with a full rag in there. No way. I'm asking for it to get caught, mate. I'm asking for it to get caught if I do that. Like I said, something small, something very small. You know, nothing massive. I just couldn't be bothered kind of ripping bits off. So yeah, still some oil in there. It's very nice and smooth now. It's lovely and smooth. Yeah, don't worry, RG. I'd never go in with a massive rag, mate. I did that 18 months ago, 2 years ago, and I got caught in the shock. It was spinning around. That's why that stop button came in useful. But yeah, learned from experience myself. How's that feeling? I've seen people use kitchen roll, and I thought, what's the purpose of using kitchen roll to apply finish? Kitchen roll is there to absorb, you know. So it's yeah, it's like robbing your finish, isn't it? Straight into the kitchen roll. So there we are. Yeah, I'm sure it's definitely ash. This looks like ash. Yeah. So the grain is very similar to ash. It's got that wavy grain, see? Sure, that's ash. So we've got a nice chunky, shapy porridge bowl looking kind of thing at the moment. But again, it's not too bad considering I've had a couple of months, if that, a couple of weeks, good few weeks off the lathe. People are asking me if I was okay because I've not produced anything for a while. And yeah, I'm okay, just needed a little break, you know. But again, with anything, when you're doing it all the time, every day, sometimes you just get a bit worn out from it all, really. But yeah, today's just been a nice reason to get back on. And say I have had an awful lot of wood arrive, but again, it's come out the kiln. It's very brittle, it's very dry, and I just need to be very, very mindful of it. So overall, I'm going to give this a measure. Have I got that measure in here? Or is it in the other room? Could be in the other room. But I'm guessing that's around about 6 inches by 3 inches. It's not massive, but it'd be nice as a decorative piece, you know, decorative piece for the kitchen. So not going to be used for pestle and mortar. It'd be a nice size bowl for pestle and mortar. Say it's not too bad. I've turned worse. I have turned a lot worse, and I have had other problems with turning other various types of timber. But today, this one's been a little bit of a challenge. I suppose it's been a little bit rusty, but overall, I'm quite happy with it. The crack, RG, there was a crack at the bottom of this when I initially started turning it, and it must have ran through most of the bottom way, really. So it took me a good few passes to remove quite a lot of material just to get rid of that crack. It wasn't running all the way through, but it was running right through the back of it. So one thing I just need to be mindful of. One thing I need to be mindful of when mounting wood: don't mount cracked wood ever. I was going to say, but yeah, it took me a bit of time to get rid of it. It took me a little bit of time to get rid of it. But overall, hello sir to you too. Welcome to the live. It's nearly at the end. But yeah, overall, I was going to say I enjoy turning bowls, I enjoy turning pens, I enjoy turning platters and vases and all sorts of bits and pieces. But today's just been one of those learning experiences that, yeah, I think each piece has got its own way of behaving, I suppose. And but yeah, today it's been good to be back. It's been definitely been good to be back. I will whip this. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Giga. Is it Giganet? Yeah, I will be back. I will be back to showcase some more of my work. Whether or not I turn a platter, a bowl, a pen, key ring. I want to turn a ring at some point. But But yeah, overall, quite happy with it. Quite happy with it. It'll go in the kitchen. It'll go in the kitchen for some practical use or something. But overall, it's not been too bad. Not been too bad. I've turned worse. I've turned a lot worse. So, but yeah, hope you all have a blessed afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you're from. But thank you for everybody who stuck with me during this live. We've had a few issues with it coming off, catches, this and the other. I'm just a little bit rusty, but I'll improve. I'll improve. Just need to get back into the swing of things, you know, and getting used to my new bandsaw. So, but yeah, overall, thank you to every single one of you who stuck by me. Thanks to every one of you who's dropped me a thumbs up, dropped the subscribe, all that shebang, and hopefully I shall see you in the next one in the next day or two. And hopefully we won't have any issues like this piece. So, but yeah, I'll love you and leave you. Thanks to everyone who's joined in, and I shall see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching YouTube. Take care of yourselves. Have a good day.